Private cities are weird. Most people do not know they even exist, and who wants to live in a place run by corporations anyway? It seemed like a recipe for disaster. Take for example, Gurgaon, a massive metropolis in India that despite being a financial hub, had no central sewage system to the point that they just dump most of the waste in the middle of nowhere. Or Lhasa, a half-built city turned into an abandoned ghost town because the company went bankrupt before it's even finished development. Of course, these two are extreme examples, but you get the point. However, that is not the case with Jiaolong, a small industrial suburb city in China that may just be the most successful private city. It has seen substantial growth and economic development within a short period of time, and it did not have the problems of most private cities like non-existent sewage system, poor water service, or just plain corruption. Granted, Jiaolong is a small city. It only had a population of around 100,000 people, but it is denser and more productive per capita than the average Chinese city. It had well-developed public services, which we all take for granted, but is actually hard to provide, especially by just one single company. And it was able to attract rapid urbanization to the area by accommodating for small businesses to thrive. So, how did they do it? How is it that one single company can develop an entire city public infrastructure, build schools, attract investment, develop public services, while at the same time making a profit? After all, it's still a company. Stay tuned to find out how. The thing with Jiaolong is, it isn't even supposed to be a city in the first place. Huang Yujiao, the founder of Jiaolong Corporation, intended to build Jiaolong as an industrial park that mainly targets small businesses. When the development began in 2004, the entire city was just farmland. Within just 10 years, Jiaolong was home to 100,000 people. Its annual production was valued at $3 billion, and the city was collecting $70 million in annual tax revenues. From just an industrial park, it gradually grew into a proper city. This was partly to accommodate workers working in the industrial park, but also due to the local Shuangliu government, which allowed Huang to build an entire city and profit from it, as long as he can build an industrial hub that attracts both people and investment to the area. So, Jiaolong Corporation signed a contract with the local government. Because this contract is crucial to understanding how the private city works, we will look at several key points in the contract. First, Jiaolong Corporation must build a sewage treatment plant, a 6,000-ton water plant, a 10,000 kilovolt ampere switch plant, and design and build pipe networks with a 30-meter broad road. Jiaolong must build a 10 kilovolt power station, providing all the power supply systems and underground cable networks. Because of the high investment risk and low returns on the infrastructure investment, Jiaolong must also design and build all plants, office buildings, and apartments according to proper standards. Second, Jiaolong Corporation must invest 1 billion yuan over 3 time periods in the 3 square kilometer development zone area. The planning area must accommodate more than 400 firms, provide an annual tax revenue of more than 300 million yuan or $47.5 million, and achieve a GDP of 6 billion yuan or about $1 billion. Firms in Jiaolong must register their businesses and pay taxes in the Shuangliu local government. Keep this point in mind as it will become essential to understand how the company can meet all of that huge demands. Here, we can already see how Jiaolong became a private city. It's Jiaolong Corporation, not the local municipal government, who's responsible for urban planning and building infrastructures. But still, it isn't a full-fledged private city with no government intervention. If Huang had failed to achieve several of the goals stated in the contract, which is a massive task in itself, the local Shuangliu government can and probably will hand the project to someone else or do it themselves. This contrasts to another private city in India, Gurgaon. There's an excellent video by the channel Polymeter on all the problems in this private city. But in short, it was unable to coordinate and build basic public services that we all take for granted, like sewage, water, or security, because of a messy bureaucratic system and lack of planning. And the government just let them roll on their own because, as problematic as it is, Gurgaon is still far better than most cities in India, with even worse public services. The third key point of the contract states that the master plan of Jiaolong must conform to the master plan of Shuangliu County. Jiaolong should make plans and put everything on record with relevant government agencies. Fourth, the government should assist Jiaolong Corporation in dealing with nearby villages and public administrations on issues such as taxation, public security, environment protection, and industrial and commercial services. Again, this point shows that the government observes and restricts the company's actions. This sounds awful for Jiaolong, but it prevents them from abusing their power to gain profit at the expense of the citizens. And the local government helps with problems that aren't really in the company's area of expertise, each playing to their strengths. In a sense, the company looks more like a private government contractor who the local government pays to build the city. All of this sounds great for the local government. They don't need to invest in infrastructure or provide manpower for it. They can just sit back, observe, and maybe intervene if things do go wrong. But most of the time, they can just relax. Jiaolong, on the other hand, has to do most of the work. But of course, a corporation is motivated by profit. So, how does Jiaolong Corporation make money? There are two ways: the rental income from plants, office buildings, and apartments, and the tax revenue shared with the local government. And here is where things get interesting. Jiaolong uses a tax sharing system where tax is paid to the local government, and then the company receives a percentage of it. The fifth key point in the contract states Shuangliu government should reward Jiaolong with 25% of the tax revenues received by the government if the target tax rate of 100 yuan per square meter is realized. And if the realized tax rate is 80 yuan per square meter, then Jiaolong only gets 20% of the tax revenue. With some quick math, we can find that the target tax rate of 100 yuan per square meter with an area of 4.3 square kilometer equals the required tax rate of 430 million yuan, or about 68 million US dollars. What this means is that the local government is incentivizing Huang to attract urbanization to the area. And because Huang isn't allowed to increase the base tax rate, the only way he can make more money is by attracting more people and businesses to the area. Hence the shopping mall, aquarium, hotel, movie theater, you name it. But this unique system doesn't end here. Jiaolong Corporation is using the same system towards its tenants. The contract specifies that if a firm that rents a plant in Jiaolong has not achieved a certain tax goal, the firm will make additional payment to Jiaolong. Additionally, for entrepreneurs and individual business people who have achieved a certain tax target, Jiaolong will cover the tuition for their children who attend the 5-star school, a private school in Jiaolong. Make of that what you will, but so far, it has been successful in incentivizing business owners. With an active market and a growing economy, Jiaolong has become a well-run city because the need for new industrial parks and cities in China is bustling with a constant stream of new entrants. But is this method of building cities sustainable? Or can we export this method to run our own cities instead? I guess only time will tell. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, you will definitely enjoy my video on how capitalism in North Korea works. This is Doverhill, and see you next time.